absolutely insane if you're a Portuguese fan thinking that it's been tied up at the end and you're about to go to extra time. Absolutely crazy if you're a Croatian fan thinking that you tied it up at the end. What did you make of the very final minutes of that game?
I thought it from an emotional perspective. I felt a little bit sorry for Luka Modric. That was my initial response, just because that's going to be your farewell. But then I had the credence of thinking to myself, like, I think because Modric has given so much to the game, there's an appreciation and a deeper love for the game. And that type of fairy tale ending, even if you're on the opposite side of it, you can appreciate that I was a part of that type of moment. I know obviously the initial response is always going to be, well, I'm out of the tournament, but it did feel special. It did feel like it was a moment for Portugal, especially with all of the narrative that's been around them throughout this competition. And every single time Roberto Martinez chooses any team, it's always a question mark as to whether or not he's choosing the right team. But I did feel like when you saw the energy that was, especially in the final 30 minutes of that game, that was what I call World Cup football at its almost peak. That really does summarize as to why it means something. I saw passion, I saw flexibility in terms of, and I saw two teams that weren't scared to forget the tactic sheets for a second and just say, well, we're just going to try and go for this. We're just going to try and win. And the pride that I saw from both of those two nations, it was, I think, nothing short of sensational. So I'm not either Croatian or Portuguese, but I felt like I was a bit of both when I was watching both the games. So it was phenomenal.
Yeah, and you could see Ronaldo. He was taken off. He was taken out of this game for the first time this tournament, right? And you could just see the absolute frustration on his face. They were, what, 1-0 or 1-1 at that time when he
1-1.
They were 1-1, so you know that he definitely wanted to come in. And we actually have someone in the comment section saying if Ronaldo doesn't start in Portugal versus Spain, then the game will be 50-50. How do you see?
I don't know if they mean
Ronaldo being.
Does that mean that Ronaldo is a? Does that mean that they're saying Ronaldo is a deterrent? If it's 50-50, does that mean, are they saying that Ronaldo, it doesn't matter if Ronaldo starts or they don't start. Portugal versus Spain is not going to be 50-50. Spain are the better team. Like, we can all see that. Like,
were you guys surprised to see Ronaldo taken out of this game early, Charlie?
No. To be honest, I've been waiting for him to be taken off in multiple matches. And it's not just him. I think Bruno Fernandes as well hasn't really gelled with this team yet. Roberto Martinez is still moving some of the pieces around the puzzle. He hasn't found the best combination yet, which is crazy to think that they're in the knockout rounds, in the round of 16, and he still hasn't found the best version of this Portuguese side yet. We've seen João Neves and Vitinha play so well together at PSG and the players around them. But within this team, we still haven't seen the best of João Neves. Now, Vitinha is Vitinha. He's still getting involved, still getting the touches. But I haven't seen this Portuguese side unlocked. It's interesting to me that Rafa Leão now is getting his look, and because he stretches opponents and he has that pace, the team has looked a little bit better. But ultimately, Cristiano Ronaldo, he doesn't give you that mobility in the front third. And there were times yesterday, if you're watching, that he would take up positions where you're saying, hey, get in the box. Don't slow the game down. There are times where Portugal wants to open up and get into the attacking third and be a little bit quicker in getting to goal. But for whatever reason, Cristiano Ronaldo wants to float out wide and slow the game down and stop and keep possession. And sometimes, I look at Nuno Mendes yesterday. He breaks into the box. It's the start of the second half. He's got a one-on-one with the keeper. And instead of shooting, which I think 99% of players get to that position of shooting, he's looking for Cristiano Ronaldo. And there's still an emphasis on every attacking player to find Cristiano Ronaldo in the box, and instead of maybe taking the best opportunity, which would be to go at goal.
I said to Charlie last night, as soon as Cristiano was coming off the field, I said, this is the problem with not taking him off in one of the first three matches, where I thought there were moments where you could have taken him off, because then it becomes a story and we're talking about it. They're 1-1, they're in a knockout game, and you take off Cristiano Ronaldo for the first time, right? Then it becomes a story for me. And I think Roberto Martinez, in a lot of ways, for sure, I think he should have come off yesterday. I thought his race was run. And I know the question mark now is going to be, should he start, the next game? Should he not start? I think there's no question he has to start the next game. He's been your guy. He's been the guy you're running with. but you have to be willing to, and this is what we said in the first 3 match days, and everyone said, oh, you're crazy, it's Cristiano Ronaldo. I get it, but take the name off the back and look at the performance, and I think you would have said, any manager would have said, okay, that position, right, is not a position that's helping us in this game, and I think that's why it becomes a storyline. Look, Cristiano's going to start. He finally gets that monkey off his back, getting that first goal in a knockout stage, which he hadn't had before. Hopefully for Portuguese fans, he finds a little bit more joy in the box somewhere. But for me, I look at this team, JD, and I think this midfield, I expected a heck of a lot more out of them. I expected Neves, Vitinha, and Bruno Fernandes to be a little bit more in sync. I think this Portuguese side is a little bit more about the midfield right now than it is about Cristiano. Although I thought it was the right decision to take him off yesterday.
I'm gonna respectfully disagree with my two friends here, and the only reason why I'm gonna disagree is because I agree with what they both say about Ronaldo's involvement, but I feel like because of the weight of his name, we look at and we put him on this echelon of thinking that we need to see the Cristiano that was 29, 30, 31, 32, where he was incredible. Like, you can put him in any conversation with any footballer that's ever touched any football on God's green earth, right? But I'm looking at a 41-year-old, so I'm looking at the management of a 41-year-old. So the second you included him in the squad, you knew what you was getting. Like, we all knew that this was the version of Cristiano that was going to be here. But I always say, like, sometimes I want people to defer from, I know what you're saying with the eye test, not denying it at all, but I will say to you the opposite. If I said to you after 4 games he had scored 3 goals, forget what you had seen. If I just said that to you, would you be satisfied so far?
Depends.
No, that's
It does.
Chuck D. This is what I'm talking about with Chuck D. If I said to you after 4 games, Cristiano Ronaldo has scored 3 goals, forget what you had seen.
No.
You wouldn't be satisfied.
No, because again, you could tell me there are 3 penalty kicks, and would that be satisfactory? And I'd say no.
Okay.
Especially look at the teams that they've played against. I'd say absolutely not.
I always think it's so interesting when I look at the modern number 9 now, because you know when I just looked at Ronaldo's stats, you know what I didn't look at first? I didn't look at his name. I thought to myself, who would be a comparable as to the amount of touches, the amount of shots, the amount of goals in this competition? And I don't hear the same conversation around Erling Haaland, because that is your automatic comp in terms of the involvement in the game, in terms of what they're doing in the final third, and everything else. Now, I'm not silly enough to turn around and say to you that Erling Haaland doesn't have the threat in behind. He's arguably one of the most dangerous strikers at stretching the game. But I want to know what's Ronaldo's role in this competition. And I don't believe it is to be the focal point. I think it's 2 things. I think number 1 is to be the decoy, because of the reputation that you have, and everybody believes that you are going to be.
He's been a decoy?
A decoy?
You think Cristiano Ronaldo's been a decoy?
Wait. I said I believe it should be to be the decoy. Whether or not his ego accepts that is another thing. But sometimes you can have the responsibility of, Chuck D, if you're the best player on the pitch, or in reputation-wise, you've got the biggest reputation, but you know you're not the best player, because he's not the best player in this Portugal team.
Do you think Cristiano Ronaldo doesn't think he's the best player?
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
There's a difference between knowing and thinking and believing, and for Cristiano Ronaldo at 41 years old, there's no doubt in my mind that he doesn't think he's the best player on that team. And he's the best attacking player on that team, and he doesn't think he should come out. He's a player at 41 years old that thinks, I've taken care of my body so much so that I can play every single minute, and I deserve to play every minute.
And rightfully so, because when you're the 1% of the 1%, which you're talking about Cristiano being, like, I can understand in your mind what's taking you to that point. You in your mind are undefeated. You're LeBron James, you're Tiger Woods. You believe still to this day that you're the best athlete that's ever walked.
You can't allow yourself to think
You can't allow
anything
yourself
less.
to go into any other zone. But truth be told, João Neves is better than him right now. Vitinha is better than him right now. Bruno Fernandes is probably better than him right now. And even Nuno Mendes is probably better than him right now. And just in terms of an overall body of as a footballer. But unfortunately, he is, I see the team still deferring to him.
Yes.
What they need to recognize is, if you can defer to him in terms of the mentality, but you can't defer to him on the pitch. So you don't make special allowances for him on the pitch, but you still recognize where his strengths are. He is still one of the best goal scorers in this competition. The stats prove it. 3 goals in 4 games. Any striker across the competition so far would accept those numbers.
2 goals against Uzbekistan, though. That doesn't play into any of it.
Why Uzbekistan deserves to be here because, like, and this is what we're not doing in this tournament. We're talking about this is the best 48 teams in the world. We've been talking about 48 nations. So everybody deserves to be here, and I can only beat who's in front of me. If he scores 2 goals against Spain in the next game, do we turn around and put the Levia in terms as to be like, oh, it's only Spain or it is Spain? I can only beat who's in front of me. That's all I can do.